Hargreaves, chance for Torquay! Chris Hargreaves, the captain! If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells!
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Gull'S Eye View, brought to you by Galaxy TQ. I'm joined by Chris.
Evening, lads. You okay?
Yeah, good. I'm joined by Tom.
Good evening.
Tom's not here. Right, so
you can call me Dom, Sam. You can call me Dom.
Right, you're the stats man today. You're the stats man.
Oh Christ!
Dom sadly can't be with us today. But right, so let's go back to the weekend. Disappointing defeat, of course, but plenty that not really were positives. I don't see positive defeat sometimes, but there's plenty of encouraging signs for us indeed. And we also had a very nice time at our sponsors afterwards, so thank you for them for hosting us. Right, so let's think. Where do we start? So Chris, do you want to have your overall opinion, or should we just go like bit by bit? Should we start in the first half? Because that was when it was at its best.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree that it was a positive defeat. That sounds about right. It sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? But you know what I mean? In that, we could have turned up and got battered, couldn't we? But you could tell right from the off that we were up for it. Yeah,
Johnson. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, the setup was right. They were
apart from the hacking out. I don't really like that, but never mind.
Yeah, well, we'd clearly come out to get in their faces, hadn't we? I mean, I think as I wrote in the report, I think the referee was odd, really, because in some respects he gave us not a lot. But in other ways, he stamped out all the time wasted in the second half, and in other ways was actually quite all right. So, but yeah, I mean, we were up and at it. We were in their faces, and actually tactically we were right. We pushed them high up the pitch. We were quite boldly prepared to press very high, so that if we lost the ball, we had a problem because they had pace down the sides and in behind. But we were able to kind of pen them in a bit and not let them get out on the press that early. Excuse me, and I thought Lawrence was kept Langstaff really quiet, but you see what £200,000 a strike or whatever it is gets you. One chance, one touch, bit of space, bang.
Great finish.
It was a great finish, but we didn't let it affect us too badly. Got the equaliser, and at half time I said to my dad, I don't mind what happens now, because actually I think we've given it a go. We haven't just rolled over and had our tummy tickled, but to lose it like that, I have to say, was pretty galling. Actually, having said I didn't mind how it ended up, because I still don't think it's a penalty. I know some people think it is, but actually, there's minimal contact. He's looking for it. He's gone down before Wyatt's got there, and just like at Notts County, the exact same thing happened at Notts County with the main, and the referee fell for it then as well. So it's disappointing like that. And I take Gary's point when he said that we didn't threaten enough after the red card. And I think that's true. We didn't get in their faces. But
it is tough playing against 10 men at times.
It is, and it proved that. But I mean, I think overall, it could have been a dispiriting afternoon, but I thought it was a more positive than maybe I thought there might be.
Yeah, no, I agree. Tom, you weren't there, but what were your sort of overriding thoughts on the?
I come out of it a lot more positive. I think when you compare to the reverse fixture at Notts, how we just sort of rolled over after the first goal, and see the steps that we've made to now, I think it was good that we were, like Chris said, we were pressing up and sort of getting in their faces. And that's all I want to see this season out of Torquay United now. And we're in a position where, I mean, yes, okay, it's annoying that we've lost, but I think most people would have expected we weren't going to get anything out of Notts anyway. And of course. And
spent, as Chris said, the Wrexham spending almost like mass of the fact how much Counter spent, but you still got to buy good players, so they're a great team.
And it's crazy to think that possibly you could have one of Wrexham or Notts County not even going up this season.
Hilarious, but also scary. Like, them two deserve to go up.
From what I've seen, I mean, I can only go on the highlights. If only Tope got ahead before it was cleared off in that first half. He threw on goal. It's a good clearance.
It was too slow at the weekend. I don't know if he was but
well, he lasted half an hour, 35 minutes. It's a bit concerning. But again, we responded well going a goal down. If Tope had scored to go 1-0 up, does it change maybe the result? Not sure. I still think Notts might have had a bit more than what we had, but no, I come away with positives. It's annoying that we've not capitalised with the extra man for half an hour. I've had a look at the penalty. Yeah, I can see why it's given, but I don't think it's a pen. I think it's very soft. But when you've got someone like Nemain who's just, you look away for a second and he's gone. Tough man to track, and a player who I'd like to see back at Torquay. Wasn't that rated, was he, when he was with us? But no,
he's got. I think for me, with Nemain, like take away the penalty, I think like his pace is frightening. If he had a more consistent end product, he would be in League Two. Well, he might be next season where it's going, obviously. But he could, I always get a bit frustrated with Nemain because I feel like he doesn't need to sort of. I know when you can win those penalties, it helps the team, but if he just concentrate more on getting that final product finish, he could be a really good player. That's what always frustrates me at Torquay. It's that final end product, but still, like his pace is like terrifying. It's not a penalty. I don't know if it's a penalty. I have to say it again properly. But it's just that cliche. If you're running at pace and you do put a leg out, you're going to get conned. Jamie Vardy won so many penalties doing that in the Premier League.
In fairness, I have to say, I didn't think it was a penalty at the time. I'm not sure if you could tell, Swanee, but
no. I just think you're going to have a heart attack every time the main came past.
maybe that's what brought on my back spasm on Sunday.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, it's funny because as he kind of, because they worked the little triangle around the corner, and as he played it in, I think I either thought or said out loud, "No, don't." Because it's the kind of thing where a defender turns, sticks a leg out, and Nemain's quicker. But he actually didn't. All he did was kind of put an arm out to kind of feel for him. But I mean, it's just like at Notts, at their place, his knees had gone. He was going down. I think it's five or 6 out of 10. I don't think a lot of referees would fall for it, but then I think some would. The disappointing, the referee couldn't wait to give it. There was no. I prefer referees to have a look at it and think, "Oh, what have I seen?" But he couldn't wait to give it. It was a split second decision. I guess if in your mind it is, you can do that. But it was disappointing because I think overall he's quick, but I didn't think he hurt us really. I mean, I thought Wyatt held him quite well, but it was interesting kind of having a 3-5-2 against 3-5-2 really, because it were two very kind of very similar systems, but they just had more quality on the ball. Both, both in the centre backs through midfield. With Bostock through midfield and. And then obviously Langstaff and then Scott when he came on, they had just had more quality on the ball than we did. But it was almost the classic work rate can get you somewhere sometimes, and we weren't working laps works is what's us often again, and he all it would have taken was one of those corners in the end to drop or
we need to get better at set pieces. The deliveries aren't too bad a lot of the time. It's just no one can ever get rid of them. We've never been good at set pieces apart from like this season. When Cole Cameron's in our team, I've never felt we've made the most set pieces under Gary Johnson. But and I think I think certainly on Collins, the Fadahunzi thing was odd because he didn't look injured, but he had a heated. It didn't sound like from people over in the bench said he didn't look very happy. But I thought Collins looked physically looked good. He's a good player. Yeah, he had a bit of speed about him. He didn't affect the game. No,
enough. But then again, we're playing on the top side.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't judge him yet on that extent. I mean, but the goal did come from his pace. Like he made that move. I know it come back and Donovan put a great ball in. And
absolutely. Brilliant. Yeah, and I think, but I guess the kind of the conundrum for this weekend, I don't see him making any changes. Just because it's a cup game, I think Gary doesn't work like that. I think he wants to win the game, but it's kind of how you fit that midfield and defence around. Because obviously, I mean, Hansen went a bit too far, and I think he could have. I think if that had been the other way around, you'd have wanted him, you'd have expected him to go, for the tackles. But does he do that again? Marshall, I thought, did well. Does he come in and Donovan moves into midfield? Maybe. Yeah. But there's not a lot of options in there, is there? Midfield wise, with Asa out, with Aguiar having gone back, with Evans playing kind of that little bit further forward. Just is there an option? Does he go with Hansen again? It's going to be interesting to see.
I don't think he's going to make too many changes. What changes can he really make for the trophy?
There aren't too many to make, are there?
No. I think, coming up with Notts County, I think there's no disgrace losing to them. No. I think 2-1 as well, which I got right. Just saying, finally got one right this season. But again, Notts County isn't going to be the be all or end all, is it? It's going to be the next couple of weeks. Barnet, 2 games against Barnet. I mean, trophy, don't really mind what happens, to be honest. I mean, a win closer to Wembley, sure, but again, leagues you got to focus on the league, and then that Dorking Wanderers game is massive now, absolutely massive.
They're the team now above us because I mean, we'll talk about York in a minute because I believe they've sacked their manager again. but they Dorking were always it was going to be into, and Oldham were always going to get out, and Scunthorpe still might, but now we're a little bit closer. I can start looking at those teams again. But
the important thing about this weekend as well is there's not really, in the National League anyway, I don't think any of the sides around us are playing, or some of them are in the trophy still. So you know, it's
they are. I think there are games next midweek, aren't there, which would affect us, but. We know, so we could be in real strife by the time we play again, but with games in hand. But yeah, I might be in the minority when it comes to the trophy, but kind of all along people were kind of like, oh, I'm not bothered to get out of it. And you know, you don't want to be distracted from anything when you're in either going for promotion or relegation. But in our situation, I think you need to get wins, and I think wins breed confidence. So you know, if we can win, I suspect Barnet would make a few changes on Saturday, although they are the highest ranked side left in the tournament. So do they want to? Do they want to pick their best team to win it?
Any other, like if we were mid-table right now, it should be our priority, of course. And I still think it would be good to, you know, try and get further. If we stay up and have a great season and end up at Wembley, all of a sudden, even though staying up should never be an achievement now, it should never be something we should celebrate, really. But we get to Wembley and we stay up, it'd be like, oh, I'm actually wasting my life for last year. You know, it was what's following Torquay.
And the thing is, as well, when it comes to cup games, you have to beat the best to win any tournament, don't you? And actually, if you look at it, if we can get past Barnet, they're the highest ranked side in it comfortably. So actually, we'd be into the quarter final. You'd be in with a real shout. So,
and that's when you really start to open your eyes and think, all right, Wembley's only a couple of games away now.
Yeah, absolutely. But
I think our situation, we got semi-final with Hargreaves. Even then, I know obviously we got to the final in 2008, but I remember the feeling. It was like, because we knew we weren't going up, but the feeling of getting semi-final against Wrexham, where we've got battered in the second leg, it was embarrassing. But I remember the excitement. Yeah, I almost did. The excitement of it all. We could be going to Wembley, you know. So it shouldn't be. Also, when you get to the quarterfinal of the FA Trophy, that's when you really pay attention. And it's what the last 16. So
again, it speaks volumes, doesn't it? When you've got Notts County, Wrexham, Chesterfield, they're already out in the early rounds playing reserve sides.
Interesting result last night, wasn't it? Chesterfield, Woking.
Yeah.
So that point it makes our point look better, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, Chesterfield are dying on their backs. I was like, because Woking then went and got beaten at Eastleigh, I think, at the weekend.
Yeah, they got.
Crikey. And then they go and win that game at Chesterfield. But Chesterfield are dying now, aren't they? The last month, they really have struggled.
Last season.
Yeah.
Did they let Chishingma go in the end?
Did what? Sorry.
Did they sell to Chishingma in the end? I know there's talk.
Yeah, he went to
Peterborough. And then he's with an obligation to buy, I think. Yeah.
So that is interesting. Oh, but
that's does it? But again, that's when you look at Notts County and Wrexham. if you can't win the league, would you want to have to play a side like Woking, who are having a fantastic season, and good luck to them, I say. You know.
Although it's hard to see why, having seen them last week, but
that's true. But it like on the one-off games of Woking, you'd argue there's no pressure for them. But that's for another conversation when whoever goes up. And
I was thinking last night that kind of section of the league. You look at Woking, Barnet, and Chesterfield. They're kind of in an odd situation for 20 games, because they're probably going to get enough points to get in the playoffs. They know they haven't got a chance in a million years of getting in the top two for a home semi-final. So you kind of know you're in an eliminator now, effectively, don't you? So, you know, there's probably Woking, Chesterfield below them. Obviously, it's all pretty scrappy and competitive, you know, with Southend, Boreham Wood, Bromley all in there. But those two, if they just go about their business and win some games as we now the end of the season, their playoff places are probably not a long way off secured. And they ain't going to get in the top two. So it's an odd situation for them.
I couldn't believe it when I looked at the table before Woking was like, my God, they're like 13 points clear of the last playoff spot. Like, incredible.
It's an odd, as I mentioned it last night, you look at the league table, it's an oddly squashed league in a lot of ways. Apart from the top two, we're 16 points off the playoffs. That's 5 wins.
Are you saying there's a chance, Chris?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm stating a mathematical fact as opposed to saying that, you know, we'll get a few wins, you never know. No, I'm not saying that. But it just goes to, actually, we're 5 wins off the playoffs.
There you go. Last game of the season, we're gonna get into that last playoff. We're gonna beat Wrexham to sneak into 7th on the last day.
I'll take 5th and bottom, lads, for now.
I just want to find the poll, and I've just had playoffs. So I'm like, this is what happens when I let them loose for like a minute. I was like, let me go try and find the poll that Dom's done today, and I've had playoffs in my ear. I've gone,
But that's the thing. It's just a shame that we're discussing the playoffs and we're not in that conversation. It's
wistfully
disappointing.
rather than seriously. Yeah.
But I tell you, before we change the subject again, I reckon Notts, or as Rachel will say, Bots County. I reckon they're going to do it. I reckon they're going to win the league ahead of Wrexham.
I don't think they will. Are they good enough to? They're more than good enough. And the way they celebrated after the game, the way that was a real big test for them, because that was a tough game with the Cole Cameron rubbish and all that kind of stuff. And we're a bit of a bogey team at Playmore. We're a hard team to play.
What's the lesser of two evils? Seeing Wrexham lift the trophy at Playmore, or seeing Cole Cameron lift the trophy?
Couldn't give a shit. I could not give a shit.
To be honest, if we step up, if we step up, they can do it.
In fairness, I'm always like the best team wins. A bit of me, even if I will entirely, of course, as I will entirely laugh at either if they don't go up. Whilst my club probably have been relegated to the south or just stayed up, but them two solely deserve to go up. And on the other hand, if we stay up this season, we also become okay again in the next couple of years. You want them out of the league,
but I think it's
way too good to be down here.
Again, it just shows you just need to have a good recruitment in the summer.
Yeah, it does help. Signing good players does help teams.
Cool. What all that time on Football Manager's helped you, hasn't it, Sam?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, that is an interesting one, Tom. If you had to tell, I would still go for. You know what? I was like, I want Notts to win, but I've been so fed up and miserable and a bit salty after, as the kids would say, after that game. I was like, oh, Wrexham win it now, and they're fairy tale. So I would say Wrexham because they've got games in hand.
Fully accepting that the playoffs are a total lottery, as we know better than most. You would, given how far ahead of the rest of the league they are in terms of quality, you would think that it would take something pretty spectacular for it to not be those two that go up. But as Wrexham found in the playoffs last, was it 5-5 in the eliminator or whatever it was?
5-4, yeah, crazy.
But again, Chesterfield, Notts County against Chesterfield this week, don't they? So all and I was looking at
you wouldn't discourage Woking in that playoff, would you? The way they can pick results out of nowhere. So
looking at the table, Notts County have lost one game in 30.
Yeah,
that's incredible. 71 points from 30 games.
It's mental.
Incredible. I mean, you could the way it's going, you could quite reasonably have a team with 100 points not go up.
Yeah,
and imagine it.
And that's what we're up against. That's what we're up against.
It's absolutely mental.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's another conversation. Let's go back to talking about Torquay.
Yeah. Don't want to.
I
don't want to think about it.
I think my cousin's Halifax fan, as I mentioned before, he said that they had Barnet on toast for half an hour last night, but then gave away 2 goals because they didn't have anyone on the far post from set pieces. They conceded 2 goals from set pieces. One to Kabamba, one to Moussa Diarra. So there might be a lesson there for how to defend set pieces. Maybe, I don't know, but
shame we've already played them twice.
Well,
we beat them twice, though.
Yeah. How bad must you be? We beat you twice.
Where do you put this current squad right now? Like, if you say, right, you had this squad where we are right now, and it started from the season, like now to the end of the season, we kept it. Where do you reckon? Because I would say this squad now is about 15th, 16th. I'd be able to say that. But 17th. We need to be about that. We need to be 11th, 12th to stay up.
I think it's still a bit light, to be honest. I think in terms of both numbers and quality. I mean, I said a couple of months ago, what it needs is a couple of quality loan players. It needs 2 players to come into the squad who are going to make an instant impact. Using Sinclair Armstrong as an example is probably going a bit far because he looked like an excellent, real prospect, didn't he? But you need someone like a Duke McKenna to come in and not be brilliant, but to really offer something a bit different, a real point of difference, who could really make a different to what you've already got. And I don't know. Do I see in it? I think Fada Hunty looks like a serviceable forward. Yeah. Collins has potential. Are they going to rip the league up and score 10 goals in 15 games and keep us up, either of them? I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. You look at since those last players signed, we've got 7 points from 4 games. I'd say the performances weren't too great in the first 2 wins, but
7 points from 4 games to keep you up.
Yeah.
If we went on that for the rest of the year, 7 points every 4 games, you'd stay up.
Yeah.
So
you just got to win against those around you. Get the points there and
it felt a bit weird because we felt a much better team the last few games, felt more solid, but it's whether it'd be enough. We got ourselves in such a mess that it might not be enough.
And I think the trophy game will be what it will be, and then the league game against Barnet, we've got to try and get someone out of that game.
We have to get some out of those games. We had to get
then
some
it's
out
all
of
on for Dorking, isn't it?
We had to get a point out of that Notts game. We didn't, and it's gutting. But so we have to win. We have to beat Barnet. I'm sure, yeah, you take it on the day, but we have to beat them. We have to win all these games.
Yeah. But you take 4 points from these two games coming up, wouldn't you? Barnet and then Dorking. Yeah. 4 points from those.
Oh,
going to Dorking and beating them will be crippling because obviously they don't get any points. We get closer. And who was it? Who was it? Yeah. Who was the first person that said Dorking will go down? Can you remember?
Oh, I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not. It's not exactly a common thing. If they stay up, it's an absolute miracle. After like losing their best striker and the journey, what they can get. How they're that high anyway? It's like. But then you
look at the size of a club like Dorking. I mean, to be honest, again, anything above the relegation line's wonderful for them. So in their first year, I know the manager, the owner's got high ambitions for the club, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem all is well there.
No, well, basically, it's the first time that they've actually struggled properly, on the pitch, and people are going, "Oh, you're not making the right decisions." And it's kind of always been, as he said in an interview, it's been like, "Well, if you don't like it, you don't have to come." But you're getting big voices now.
I found the way they played it, playing more refreshing in a lot of ways because you see a lot of big bruising sides. You come to disrupt and waste time and all of that. Even sides like Notts County towards the top, but
you'll probably
the way they played was refreshing.
Yeah,
it was different. But I remember, even when they came to us, when was that? November.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, obviously that game was 3-3, and you thought, crikey, they're gonna. You see why they concede so many goals, but you're going to get ripped apart. Anybody with anything about them
as soon as you lose that confidence in your game, it's going to be a disaster.
Unless you've got Notts County quality players, you're just going to get ripped apart playing like that. And unfortunately, that's what they're finding. But again, we mentioned York.
Yeah,
coming our way, aren't they?
So why did they sack that manager originally? It's unbelievable. I mean, the fans all said that. Mental.
Yeah,
I think there were differences, weren't there, between the way the owner wanted the club run and the way Askey would. I think it was the kind of football they were playing. Certainly, when we were there, I went there in October that was, and they weren't. Again, that was another rubbish side that we got beaten. You were there, weren't you, Tom? Another rubbish side we managed to lose to, really. But and then they go for let's face it, an untried manager who then ended up in hospital straight away with COVID and chest infection issues, and then it took him a while to recover, then find his status, and then was it 8 games he's had, 9 games? He's gone.
Yeah,
Madness.
And that's the counter argument. That's the counter argument for when we were discussing the Gary situation.
Just going to say that,
of course, it's the risk.
It's not just who you sack. The most important bit is who you've got to replace. You don't just sack Nicholson and it takes 32 days to get Gary Hours as your 38th choice. That's the hard bit, isn't it?
I still don't understand, and I could be proved wrong in this case. I have absolutely no knowledge of this at all, but I do worry for clubs. Clearly not for them in this situation because I want them to come our way. But you look at them and you think to yourself that you do think at times clubs sack managers and go, right, we've got to sack him. It's not good enough. Right, we've sacked him. Now what? As at least when we sacked ours, what Johnson was in within 36 hours, whatever it was. And there was a plan to say, right, this can't go on. We're going to get rid of him. And and if you think managers aren't spoken to owners and chief executives before people get the sack, then I suggest that's pretty naive because all that stuff goes on, and they would have known they're sacking him, and we've got our man. They must have known that. So you might have somebody in mind. Who knows? I don't know, but
we'll see. Well, hopefully it's another disaster.
Well, quite.
Yeah.
And Mark Ellis there, of course, now.
Yeah.
Just signed on loan, and the next day they sack him.
There's a debate in our chat and online. How did you rate his spell when he was here?
Not as good as I was hoping. But from an experience point to the other young players at the back, probably was a good thing having him round in the squad for a month. But when you look back on it, we were still shipping in goals. But then the way we play, it's going to be difficult for anyone.
I think easy for me to say. Statistically, we conceded a lot of goals in that time, but that was around the time when we basically had no midfield, and teams were just running through us, and it was all a bit kind of Alamo job for the back four. I think him and Ness with a more solid midfield would have looked better than they did. The midfield we had at that time.
I found it hard to judge. He won everything in the air. He did get done at times. That was always going to happen, but it was quite hard to judge. But I don't see it going, oh no, that's over. He's gone. I love Mark Ellis, but.
Are we going to win on Saturday then?
What's that, sorry?
Are we going to win on Saturday?
On penalties, yes.
I'm going A4. I'm more about
it goes to a replay though, Tom, unfortunately. So
does it?
It does.
Usually.
Yeah.
I thought it was on
do.
the day still. I thought they changed that.
Then they vote on Football Manager. It's that you have a vote between the two teams. You either do it on the day or you don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they go to replays now because I remember plotting an evening out in Taunton during the half time in the home game. I'm pretty sure they're all replays again. That was a COVID thing, I think.
Oh,
they shouldn't be replays. It's a nonsense because no one would want it. But
well, if there is no replay,
yeah,
we'll win it on penalties. If there isn't, if it does go to a replay, well, won't need a replay. We'll win it 2-1.
Okay. I've got a funny feeling we're going to win Saturday. I think we're going to win 2-0. You'll be surprised to hear. I'm being positive about it.
I reckon we'll lose and then we're drawing the league game. I reckon we'll lose 2-1.
I'm more confident for this Saturday than I am for the following Saturday.
I reckon I should be, but for some reason my guts is telling me Torquay will do something stupid and be, well, not stupid, but Torquay will do a Torquay and it'll be the other way around.
Here's a quick question for you then. I'll offer you two things. We can win on Saturday and get to the final and go down, or we can lose on Saturday and stay up.
Stay up. No thought.
Anyone that chooses option one needs to have a look at themselves, frankly. But yeah, it'd be interesting because you look at that. Was it 2008? Look at that. The worst trip to Wembley imaginable.
That was my first.
I had a mate that had a ticket. And
I need to dig out the photo of me. It was sad, honestly. Like it was. It was.
Yeah.
And then we lost to bloody Ebbsfleet. So.
I know.
How did Benyon miss that at the back post? And Chris
I've got no idea.
As well.
Yeah.
No,
why didn't Chris Todd just stick it in the stand rather than arse around with it and get robbed as well, having already saved a penalty?
Yeah, you got to focus on the league now. We've done well to sort of get back into it, but yeah, I mean, I would hate to go to Wembley knowing that we're a National League South club next year. Because you know what we do? We probably lose the bloody final anyway, knowing us.
If we won, it'd be like, yay.
Yeah. But then maybe, if we were talking about Gary and his final hurrah.
I mean, 20th in the National League and Gary Johnson's lifting the FA Trophy. It'd be a nice way to go out. It wasn't meant to be.
What times be like that'd be, hey?
Yeah. And one final thing on the gaffer, because by the way, I really enjoyed the collab you did last week with all the live stuff. Yeah,
Chris and me, by the way.
Oh
yeah, no, it was good. Thanks for the comments on that, by the way. I didn't quite get as much time to finish all the little graphics in the end, but that was cool. I enjoyed it.
But what do you reckon of Gary's comments he made after the Woking game? Not that I want to sort of bring this episode on a downer, but it really hurt me for a couple of days. It
annoyed me, but it didn't change my opinion on the whole matter. Like, if I still haven't watched it. I haven't watched an interview of theirs for about 4 or 5 months now. But I'll let you, because if it was for me, it was just kind of like, it was a bit weird, and there's probably a few context on it I might have missed. But
it was more the fact that he wasn't even led into it; he just said it.
Yeah. My biggest point is, me and Chris, I think Chris or Dom have said it before. Any of us said it. Whatever the comment was, and it was weird, and honestly, don't take my opinion. We've had to watch his rubbish football all season. But what's the media team doing? Christ, a lot of things I edited last week. Not saying we're sat here being like criminating, but there's times where you edit. I do many projects. I'm not a trained media. I do YouTube. I do like gaming stuff. I do whatever. You do something, and sometimes there'll be someone that gets said by something. You're like, oh, is there a danger? You shouldn't think like it, but is there a danger that could, out of context, not look as good? Or with like I've been angry at something at the time. I'll go, no. I'll come to edit it. I'll go, oh, you like a right div right now. Now I'm not in the red mist. You know what I mean? So you kind of learn to protect your things. And when you're in the media like that, why is that being let in? Surely someone's gone, should we cut that bit out? That bit, just in case our fans take it the wrong way. Who's travelled.
You wouldn't have thought it would have taken too much for anybody to have any semblance of anything running of a football club to think that's a bad idea.
Yeah, no,
taking that out. But I think you've hit the nail on the head, Tom. For me, I think as much as anything, because there's that. And I get it, but I find it all a bit tiresome. This, to support the Yellow Army, incredible. Wouldn't it be great to have the Yellow Army at Playmore on Saturday? And I get it. They've got to whip it all up, and I get all of that. But it wasn't even in context. It was just like somebody had to get off his chest almost. And I've been to many games midweek away from home and great cost and time and driving and hotels and all the rest of it. And that wasn't what I was at. But if I had been, I can't think I'd have been that happy at that comment, really.
I wasn't. Gary, I could have saved myself 40, 50 quid, watch the stream of you guys and save the journey, petrol and ticket,
better.
Yeah. But it's just comments like that just make it really difficult.
Yeah, you almost thought like,
but equally, having said that, and I don't agree with what he said in any way, shape, or form, but I did read somebody said, for a bit of a counter context to it, was he's been going to matches and he's had people calling him a tosser for the last 3 or 4 months. So
I read another counter argument that I do agree with that. I read that he maybe.
So I get that view, but equally, I don't really see.
He meant it was a shame they've had to go because the trains are coming in, but I still it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's one of those. It really is one of those. I think where you're paid to do that as a football manager. If you think it's all going to be sweetness and light, you're probably in the wrong job. So
especially when you're paid sacked by now.
Yeah, you're paid to take it because people pay that. I don't subscribe to the. Yeah, I don't agree with it. I don't subscribe to this. People pay their money. They have a right to say whatever they like because I think people go too close to and beyond the line at times. But equally, people can have an opinion, and when you're struggling like we have been, it's going to be the way. Think.
Yeah, Gary. I've had my opinions this season.
I don't think he'll watch this, mind you.
But keep us up. We'll let you go. Simple as that, really. Yeah. And we'll all be there in July.
Yeah. End of the day, we're all supporters. We just want this club to stay up this season. You just get it done, please. For the love of God, get it done.
Yeah.
God,
and then
a lot of it.
And then the summer will be what it will be. But and
if we're still in the National League, I'll worry about the summer then.
Yeah.
And Torquay United, please, once again, just get involved with the fans. Like Asa Hall, where is he? I've heard he's had surgery. Like what?
Yeah, that's a joke, isn't it? Like it's done. We can end on a positive though, because Dom's on a poll on Facebook, and it's a Goals I View YouTube poll. Are Torquay staying up? And 79% of you said yes.
That's mine and Dom's hope every week. You see, no one's listening to you, Swanee. They all want hope on it. They don't want we're going down.
Yeah.
Dom is quite steadfast. Dom is quite sensible, and he's quite steadfast, and has been for weeks. I remember him coming on the train back from Barnley. He was like, "No, we'll stay up. We'll be fine." And he's still quite calm and controlled by it. We'll be fine. We'll stay up. And I don't.
I'm starting to believe a bit again now.
I'm naturally optimistic, as you know, but I wouldn't say with any great certainty that I think we've got the qualities to stay up, but I will happily believe it.
Ask me after Dorking.
Okay.
Chris, ask me after Dorking.
Okay, deal. All right, fine, we will. We'll come back to you when we've got 6 more points.
Yeah. And a trophy quarter-final.
Okay, see, 6 wins out of 7. Ideal.
See, the playoff charge is on.
No, I didn't say that. I did
According
not say
to Chris,
that. Don't go editing this one.
I know. We're going to go to the playoffs. And it's going to be all over the thing. Oh my God, they're talking about playoffs. Chris, he's lost his head. He stands there and we're all shouting at the main all game and shouting the ref. I don't think he's going to have a heart attack. I get wound up.
Is that going to be the title for this week's video then? Playoff charge is on.
Playoff
charge is on after losing another game.
Yeah,
it's your name on it as well, lads. Don't forget though. So you'll get as derived as I will. So
we're still winning this league by 20 points, even though it's no longer mathematically possible. Wrexham and Notts will have
fingers crossed for Saturday. We'll be good. We'll be good.
Yeah. Wrexham and Notts will have a Man City moment, and they'll be deducted and kicked out of the National League entirely.
That's why I'm good. We've got to have another 20 teams between us. Got to have all that.
It's fine
if that's the case. So
Man City, we'll see you next season.
Oh no, I want to get rid of Wrexham, and I don't want them.
Oh God.
Oh, imagine them. God. Yeah. Well, all that. Yeah. Anyway, right. That's what I'll take.
That's another day.
Yeah. There's your positive to end on.
There's your positive to end on. Right. So, thank you for watching. We'll do this as one this week. And then we'll do one next week. Oh, I don't know how we're going to get a chat about an FA Trophy game, but something exciting must happen.
It's going to have to be a good one, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining me, you two.
Pleasure.
Thank you for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And check out Galaxy TQ. We'll see you in a bit.
Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Banyan. Sells!